Hey everyone, I'm Eric. This is my wife Julie. We are The Blended Life.
Yep.
And tonight's topic.
Your topic.
This is my topic, apparently. No, it is actually. It's hygiene in a blended family, and there's lots of little topics on that. We're talking hygiene of your children, doing basic household maintenance, basic. I don't know what else you want to put in on that. I mean, there's lots of little things to hygiene, right?
Cleanliness of the body,
of the body,
and
mind,
the
and soul. No, really though. I mean, there's so much to do with just hygiene in general, and we're gonna try to keep this one a little bit shorter topic because I feel like it could get a little touchy. We both have kids that can use hygiene in different departments. So, anyways, which one do you think we should start on? Where should we start this off at?
Well, you really want to talk about hygiene. Hygiene is of like the body.
Of the body, man.
Hygiene isn't really
so
cleaning the house.
What made me even think of this topic to even start with is before last week, before we started our podcast, my kid, I'm setting up and I'm like, dude, my kid, all I can do is smell you around here. Like, when was the last time you showered? So us as parents, we have to stay on top of that. Now, if it was your kid who like, I'm referring to like your son. This was my son. Our kids get stinky. You know exactly. Look at, speaking of hygiene, I stink. Be right back. I'm gonna take a shower. That was my kid typing that to us right now. But we have to stay on top of them. Like they're becoming young adults. They're teenagers, you know, and they stink.
Yeah. Well, hygiene is just all habit forming. So here's the thing I tell parents, it's if you want your kids to do something like habitually, whether that is brushing your teeth.
Do I have to beep you out for that word?
No. Whether that's brushing your teeth, taking a shower, brushing your hair, flossing, whatever it is, it has to start from day one. So if your 13, 14, 15-year-old was never forced to take a shower every day, and all of a sudden they're starting to stink and now they have to take a shower every day, it's an issue. Where if that was just the expectation from day one, right, you know, it's just part of their life since they were a kid. It's much harder to instill habits when they haven't been instilled later on for kids than if this is just how you set your kids up from birth. And so this is something that, you know, I took a lot of child development classes in college, and, you know, I've been involved in
raising children.
Yeah. But that's one thing I've learned. It's like, you know, you have to be, I think parents just wing it, and parents aren't super mindful of what they're doing.
There's a shirt idea. I'm stopping you right there.
What is it?
Big old winger. I'm a giant winger.
But really though, like parents, in the beginning, it's just straight survival. At some point, like you're just making it to the next day.
Right.
But parents, hey Jess, parents,
Hi Jess.
It's really important that you really think about, like, you're raising kids and, you know, what habits are you allowing them to get away with? When you allow bad behavior and then all of a sudden it was okay for this amount of time and now it's not, kids have a very hard time with that, and rightfully so. It's kind of like it's not fair. Like, why was it okay and now it's not?
Right.
You know, why didn't I have to take a shower? And, you know, I get the whole that you're stinky.
Well, what really complicates it is when you have different hygiene habits at different households. You know, the kid's forced to take showers every single day at one household, but then they go to the other house and it's not really a big deal. You know, the other family's a little more hippy dippy, right? And they're like, you can go a week without showering. You know, that's natural sense. You know, I have friends.
Who is that?
I have friends
Why?
at 38 years old who will not shower for days, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't even ride in the same vehicle as you.
Yeah.
You know, and like.
Well, luckily in my situation,
It's a good word,
luckily.
Yeah.
The household, you know, cleanliness is a big thing, and honestly, my kids have genetically horrific teeth.
Yeah.
So, and that's my genes. I do too. And it's expensive if they don't brush and floss. Like, they will get cavities. They will need to have,
gnarly dental work.
Yeah. So,
which is no fun for anyone.
No. So good, healthy dental habits just save in the pocketbook. And that's something I try to explain to the kids as they get older. Look, like, it's expensive to get a cavity filled. It's expensive to have, fluoride put on your teeth, and
right.
It's expensive to put sealants on your teeth, and it's expensive, to have crowns put on. I mean, my kids have crowns.
It adds up. You guys have some expensive mouths.
Yeah, but you have to explain to them, like, habits are really important, and there's a good hygiene and good health, heart health, mental health, go hand in hand. And I don't think parents quite understand that. Like, if you see a kid who hasn't showered and they haven't changed clothes in a week and they haven't brushed and flossed and they're just slovenly, it's interesting because their demeanor and their behavior kind of reflects their hygiene. That's something that I have noticed a lot with my own kids, with myself, right? Like, if I don't get out of bed and I never change out of pajamas and I don't shower in the morning, like, my day starts off on a very different note than if I get up, I take a shower, I brush my teeth, I brush my hair. I am more ready for the whole day. Like, I'm like, it's time to go. I'm
a little more driven,
not as lax, not as lazy, and not as down. Women especially, like, they're, you get dressed up into your hair and makeup, you feel like $100, versus like you're walking around in sweatpants and the sweatshirt and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But that has to do with your mental health, and kids are no different. Kids need to be taught to honor their bodies.
Right.
By good hygiene.
Well, that's the thing too. And going back to what I was talking about a little bit before, if it changes.
Jessica says, if I look like a troll, I act like a troll.
Okay, troll.
Same. It's true,
Wasn't that a cute cartoon, though?
Yeah. Like, you can't even go X amount of time without getting your hair cut, or you start, like, freaking out.
It makes me angry. But then your skin freaks out, and that's something that you teach kids, too. Kids are like, why do I get zits or acne? And that's... teenagers are very prone to that. And a lot of that comes down to just health, diet, skincare, even products that they're using. Is your kid using a lot of hair product in their hair? Do they have very oily hair? I mean, because that all translates down to your skin. If you're eating greasy foods, lots of pizza, which I'm not against, that all translates to what your body is digesting and putting back out.
Yeah, but imagine if you... See, this is the thing with washing your face, too. I'm trying to get my 10-year-old, and I started when she was 9. But, like, we talk about washing your face. Wash your face. Wash your face. Even if you're not taking a shower, please go wash your face at night. Mm-hmm. And no, she's not hit puberty yet, and it's not a thing. But by the time...
it's not far around the corner either, though.
By the time she does, hopefully that's just ingrained in her, where she's like, I got to wash my face. And I'm not dealing with a moody teenager freaking out over acne, on her period, being crazy, and I'm having a battle about washing. You know what I mean? So hear this, parents. Like, the younger you can start good habits, the easier it'll go for you.
Well, and going back to what I was talking about before is the difference between the two households. Usually, if you start them off with a pretty good habit, they'll carry it over to the other household. Right. Usually good habits, if it's good for them or it feels good for them, they'll usually carry those habits with them.
Right. Well, and then also you have to be doing those habits too. So if you're going to tell your kids to brush their teeth in the morning,
you have to be brushing.
You have to go be brushing your teeth. They have to see you. Maybe not see you taking a shower, because that'd be creepy. But they have to, like, know that you are. If I want my kids to exercise and I want health to be super important, I best be getting my ass out there and exercising every day or every other day or whatever, and even if they don't take to it now, I know they will remember, hey, my mom exercised a lot, or that was like an important part of her life. Like that, they take notice of how we take care of ourselves and how we, our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health.
We set the bar, people.
Yeah.
We really do. I mean, our kids look up to us for everything. So if you're telling your kids, speeding in a car is a terrible thing, and you everywhere you go, you're doing 100 miles an hour, like they're gonna be like, well, mom or dad does 100 miles an hour everywhere. Everywhere they go. Why can't I?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and I think too, something that people don't care, but I think that even kids in the same home, blended family kids who stepkids in the same home, I think that there's a lot of different hygiene that goes on between different sets of kids. And I don't think this is considered a lot, but like, do you think it's important that all the kids have the same hygiene? Do you think it matters for kids to have same hygiene, different hygiene?
Yeah, pretty
close.
Battle of the hygienes. I think hygiene. Sorry, YouTube, I'm stretching you guys around. Thanks, bud, for letting me know. Yeah, I think if it's a value, if it's something that we want in our family for all of our kids, I don't think that it's a bad thing for all of us to practice for all of our kids. We want to be one family. We want to be one blended family. I think it's an important thing to get the kids kind of on the same thing. Like I'm trying to pound into my 13 going on 14-year-old teenager's mind that he needs to shower every single day.
But here's what I don't get, because we deal with this with both of our youngest.
Right.
Your son, my daughter.
Right.
Our son, whatever, you know what I mean? But like for me, I feel like kids should shower every day.
Absolutely.
And not be an option.
I 100% agree.
So like if you don't shower, you don't play video games.
There we go. Let's come up with that. Like let's set that.
Well, it's just easy. I don't know why that's not brain like.
Right.
So I think if things are important to you, you have to you can't be like, I'm trying to convince somebody to take a shower. No, like you take
need
a
to
shower.
Set ultimatums.
Or you don't play.
Right. Well, and that's the
Period.
thing. I mean, it comes down to stuff like, we're talking about hygiene, but it also comes out, hygiene goes further than just the body or the person. Hygiene comes down to bedroom, how they keep their rooms, like the upkeep. The making of their bed.
That's more like cleanliness.
Okay, but it's still a form of hygiene, is it not?
I have to look up hygiene. I think hygiene is just your body.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving into cleanliness now too, people.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's all the same realm. And if we have a trashed bedroom and always have just dirty clothes everywhere, like our kids are gonna think that's all right, right? And we keep a pretty clean bedroom. I feel like you're very on top of laundry and. If I'm the last person out of bed, I usually make an effort to make the bed up. It's one of those things that is kind of important to us. And I've never really understood. I'll be honest. Growing up as a kid, I never made my bed. It was never one of those things that was ingrained to me. I was never a big bed maker until you and I started cohabitating. And it was like, we're going to make up our bed. Like, you love it made up. I always like crawling into a bed that's not made up. It feels like you just get into it easier. I don't know why. Is that kind of weird?
It drives me crazy.
But it drives you crazy. And I get it.
I like tidy, neat, like
you do, which is weird because I'm very OCD about things. Like if I have
crumpled bed is like,
if I have a dirty car, I'm like, it's like nails on a chalkboard. The boat's dirty. I'm angry. Like, you know what I mean? I'm always cleaning stuff.
Yeah.
My workspace, my computer screen, all of it. Like I'm kind of OCD about stuff like that to a little bit of a point. But I get it. Like it looks nice. It's one of those things though that your kids see and your kids basically follow suit. So if we always have a pile of dirty clothes in the corner of our bed or around, like that's what our kids are going to do. But if we keep them doing the same thing, and telling them, hey, go do your laundry, which my kids got a load of laundry in right now. And it's
Did they switch laundry?
I switched laundry. I switched the first part.
I was stressing. You're talking about laundry and I'm all shit.
Oh, there we go, you guys.
I have laundry I need to switch.
Julie has laundry. Well, I live in this household too, and laundry is not 100% your problem, which also I think is one of those things. No, you're pretty good at. She stays on top of laundry really well, you guys. But you know what? When you and I met, one of the things you told me is, and we'll get to that in just one sec, Jess. Laundry has always been therapeutic for you, which blows my mind.
No, folding laundry. I don't mind.
Right.
But that's because I do it on our bed, and I'm usually watching like whatever show I want to watch, whatever the fuck I want to watch.
Stop with the words.
And I like that. No one bugs me when I'm folding laundry. Everybody's like, I'm fucking him out.
What's your problem tonight? I'm just gonna keep beeping you after the fact. It does nothing.
I think it's nice just because nobody really wants to help, and it's like alone time where.
Sometimes I sit there and help you though. I do. I sit on the opposite side of the bed.
I think I can count on one time in 7 years.
Hey, that's
on
sometimes.
one hand, 7 years, how many times you've helped me fold laundry. Which is
you know what? I think I can count on no hands how many times you've come out and helped me change the oil. Or
I would do that. I just don't know how. You could always teach me.
I would do laundry. I just don't know how. You could teach me.
That's a bullshit lie. Thank you very much.
You know what I mean? I feel like we pull weight in other things. But Jessica right now is asking about how about dirty dishes?
Yeah.
My kids leave dirty dishes anywhere and everywhere. Now, this is one of those subjects that we are on our kids, and I feel like we're doing a pretty good job.
I'm getting angry.
We're at like an 8 to 9
now
on this, and the kids are like a 4 to 6 on this, where I feel like our kids are starting to get it. But like, for instance, Julie opens up the microwave this morning and goes, "Who used the microwave last? It is a disaster." And I look in it, it's Top Ramen. I know immediately who had Top Ramen last night, and I yell at my kid.
Well, can we just discuss this? Like, cooking Top Ramen in the microwave.
Finish
like boil water and do it. Like,
he's lazy. He wants Top Ramen. Top Ramen's a 15-cent meal, and he's making this last night, and it is everywhere. Not only is there pieces of noodle everywhere, but there's boiled water. Like, he goes to pull out the tray,
water,
and it just dumps everywhere. I was so angry. I said, "You go, turn your computer off. You're done." I grounded him from his computer for a few hours for the day. I'm like, "You're done. We're cleaning this up." He started cleaning it up, and then I was so angry, I made him just go outside.
And I have to say, I didn't jump in the middle of that.
Right.
But that didn't teach him a lesson. He didn't end up having to clean it up.
He didn't, because what I saw is he wasn't able to see everything. He was getting the front part of it. Our microwave's up very high. And even I have to like stand on my tippy toes to get back to the back of it.
But then give him tools to like, there's a ladder.
I guess I could have.
There.
I was so angry at that point though.
I understand
I was so angry that I was like, I was just going to snap. And him and I have that relationship where a lot of times I come back to him later and I'm like, "I'm sorry for overreacting about things. You pushed me over the edge." And we get under each other's skin like that sometimes. And it takes a little bit of a blowout. It lasts for a little while and then we're fine again. Mm-hmm. But I was at that point where I was so angry that if he didn't get out of the room, like, I was just going to take the microwave out of the wall and throw it. Like, I was so mad. Like, how do you let it get to this point? And then he's playing stupid about it. He's like, "Well, it wasn't me. I don't."
Yeah.
And he's watching us right now, and what you did.
And also, I've told him this before because I've cleaned it up before, and him and I have had this conversation before. So I think that if it happens again, he's not to cook Top Ramen in the microwave anymore.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, if you can't cook Top Ramen in the microwave and keep it clean
responsibly,
then figure out a different way to make it. That's not, like, and it doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a mad thing. Like, it doesn't have to be a battle of wills because you're the parent, they're the child.
Exactly.
And so you shouldn't, like, it doesn't even have to be a fight. Like, dude, clean it up. If you can't handle the microwave, cool. You can't use the microwave. Figure out a different way to make something and not make it so emotionally charged where you're that.
I was angry. I was
upset,
so mad.
You know, like.
Because he pulls the plate out, the tray. You guys know the tray that spins around in the microwave. He pulls it out, and it's like water just all down. We have built-in dishwasher. It's just all down the front of it. And I'm like, he's stepping in water.
No, I would have, if Annabelle had done this, I understand.
I was so angry.
But.
So I made him go downstairs, because he was in a hurry to get back downstairs to his computer. I'm like, "Nope, you're done. Turn it off. You're going outside." But it goes further than stuff like that. The dishes, the scrubbing your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. It's not a dish scrubber. It's a dishwasher.
The dishes.
And I feel like the kids are starting to get better.
Here's our thing with the dishwasher. I think it's the dishwasher is my biggest pet peeve.
I didn't even have to beep you out that time.
I beat myself out.
Yeah, thanks.
Like, learn to load the effing dishwasher.
So do we need to have a
lesson?
Dishwasher lesson? I feel
might.
We've told our kids this and we've showed them at different times.
Dude, it is loaded the same effing way every single time.
Yeah.
Like, fucking care and take note. Right? So maybe we do. Maybe we have a powwow
or
around the dishwasher and be like, okay.
A lot of times you can't tell and no one fesses up. I'm pretty good about knowing because my son and I sit right next to each other.
So you know what he's eating.
I know what
drinking.
he's eating. I know when you're like, something happens, like who had top ramen? I'm like, boom, I know who did it.
Well, and I think we're not helicopter parents, but I think we're both very aware of what our kids are doing. And now that we're home all the time, we're very aware of like, we make mental notes. I think that's just parenthood. You make mental notes of where your kids are at, what they're doing, things like that. Loading the dishwasher, someone tell me this. Kids putting dirty dishes in a clean load of dishes. Like, they're too lazy.
I haven't seen that yet.
This just happened.
Oh, yes, you're right. I cleaned one. I cleaned one this morning.
I
cleaned one this morning.
Like, kids are too lazy to look at the dishwasher to see if it's clean or dirty, right? You can tell.
I thought that the dishwasher hadn't cleaned it, like it hadn't got scrubbed prior. Is that what it was?
No, I put the dishes on last night, and then I open it, and there's like dirty dish in there. As we're putting away dishes this morning, and there's dirty dish in there, and it's like, I don't
it's
like.
Just
they're just lazy.
Yeah,
and really, like, I mean,
so maybe we start coming up with consequences. Hey, you guys, this is because there's consequences for us. There's price of speeding tickets. There's price of running a red light. But
everyone's going to lie and say it wasn't them.
But we're good enough now. We're better than that.
Do you know some parents? Okay, so I have talked to parents.
Are they going to have their own dishes?
Yes. Some parents will have like one, like different, like they'll go to Target and each kid has a different color.
Here's and that is your dishes.
That is your. You have this like an orange dish, or orange plate, an orange bowl.
Can I have
an orange cup? And that shit's yours.
I want to play this game.
And then you just know, and every kid has a different color until they can learn. And shit can get real fun until kids can start learning. Like, you know.
And then there's consequences. Maybe we do this.
Yeah, like you have to go scrub everyone's toilets.
Let's make blended life colored dish sets for kids. Would you guys like that? Comment below if you want blended life color kid sets, and like we can even make like some elegant ones for parents, like for funsies, you know, like
the parents can have like white, pretty,
because that's super fun.
Well, what the fuck color you want?
Oh my god, here, yeah. So you'll cuss about the like. There it is.
So dishes is just like a never-ending battle, I think, in every household. Like,
how about
put your dish in the dishwasher and not leave it in the sink.
How about leaving dishes in? Because we've talked on the bottom two, on our youngest two kids, but the oldest one is like dish hoarder. You go into his room and there's he has 15 cups, 2 bowls. All the forks are in his room.
Yeah,
you know.
I do make him take down his dishes every day.
You're pretty good about that.
I do, because I check in on him every day. It's not like I don't ever go in.
You
his
check
room.
to make sure he's still alive.
I'm like,
in there?
Are you breathing in there, you weird teenage boy?
In there making ball soup.
But yeah, I think that I check in and I make him take it down. He's probably the most responsible one. I just think he's the oldest, and he just doesn't like mom's lectures. He's heard a million of them. He's like, well,
he's
fuck, I'll
older.
do anything
He's
I have
learning.
to do not to
He's learning.
listen to
I didn't
you.
beep you out for that one. There goes.
But, you know, I think as kids get whatever, I'm going to beat them down with my lectures. But
well, here's the thing too, though. I mean, and there's times too where I'm like, to my son, I'm like, hey, take these up before you do another thing. Take this up. I will. I was just about to. I'm always hearing, I was about to, or I will.
Always excuses.
Always excuses. Mm-hmm. At some point in time, us as parents, and I'm usually just too busy. I don't even think it's a lazy thing. You let this
go a little bit too long, I think.
Sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes.
I do
Other
too.
times
You
I
will
get
call me out with my daughter that I let it go.
Well, because I come in the house and it's like, TV's on, SpongeBob is on, 6 pairs of shoes here and there.
She's the worst. My daughter leaves shoes absolutely
not even
everywhere.
Shoes. I'm like, there is toothpicks from the cake she made on the floor the other day. There's just stuff everywhere. Like, I'm not even going to start getting nitpicky. There's stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, there'll be times and where it's like, this is just overwhelming. Like, you can't even sit down in the chair because there's stuff all over it, you know? And it's not even that we're being lazy as parents. And I know you guys can relate to this. It's that you're just so busy and preoccupied with other stuff, and you have bigger fish to fry and, you know, bigger fires to put out, that you'll get back to that. And there's a lot of times, I mean, I'm sitting 5 feet away from my son, and we're doing stuff, and I'm in the middle of working on something, and I look over and I'm like, dude, go put that away before, like, your macaroni and cheese bowl is hardening up. You know what I mean? If you would have cleaned that right away, like, I'm the guy that when I cook, I'm cleaning while I'm cooking.
Here's the deal, and I've caught all of the kids doing this. I've broken my kids. I haven't really taken yours on yet because
there's a pink baseball bat upstairs.
But here's the deal. Like, you'll tell a kid to do something and they don't do it. And then they say they did it. Like, wash your dish out. It'll be like, rinse, put in. There was no washing.
Right.
Did you wash your dish out? Yeah. That's not mine.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there, watch it all happen. I'm like, okay, but then that's
Are your kids doing that? Are your kids doing that?
Cole's a rule follower by he's not perfect by any means, but he washes his dish out.
Well, he'll always try hard, but he's the kid that goes to dump his plate into the trash can.
Annabelle does this and it gets everywhere.
And then you're like, you got it everywhere but the trash can. And we have the trash that pulls out.
Yep.
And there's, trash can, recycling
it's
bin.
It's a big hole, you guys. I was going to make
the plate down.
Joke.
I know. Put the plate down closer to it and scrape it in, right? It's like, no, they do it from up here, and it literally hits everything around it. And that's like stuff like that,
Annabelle does that a lot.
Yeah, or the coffee grounds. I'm like, coffee grounds in the morning. I'm like, dude, like, what'd you bang it on the outside of the... Anyways. So there's stuff like that, but...
the coffee grounds are my fault.
On the outside? I've watched it happen from other people too. But anyways, yeah. And I'm quick to be like, nope, that was 100% my fault. I feel like I've done that a couple times lately. You're like, what is this? And I'm like, dude, I totally screwed up.
Yeah. It's hard, but
it happens.
Yeah.
But also, that's another lesson in it. Teaching your kids to own up. Just facing like, oh, I totally spaced that out. I put a dish in there dirty. I was in a hurry. My fault, Mom. My fault, Dad. Let me go clean that up. Not this.
Well, that wasn't fucking mine. Wonderful.
Could you amazing? What's your deal?
I get really heated about this.
Me too. I have to live in it.
Especially.
Yeah.
Dishes are the worst.
So kids are they're products of what we make them.
Right. And there's nothing wrong. Like, tell your kids that they need every night before you go to bed, I need you to pick up all your stuff around the house and go
take a shower
in your room. Take a shower, 4
in the morning. But maybe if it becomes a point or a problem, we make a point to be like, you know what? No more dishes in the bedroom. The only time you are eating something, you're sitting at this counter or at that table, and food's nowhere else in the house. Food's not going to be eaten while watching TV because your popsicle sticks are getting left on the couch, and that's unacceptable. And the next time that happens, you're grounded from doing that for, I don't know, a week. And then after a week, if it happens again, now you're grounded for a month. Like, it's not happening. And until you learn, like, these are going to be consequences. It's really our fault. And like I said, there's a lot of times there's bigger fires that we're putting out, and it's hard to stay on top of it. But it's one thing as parents, so we have to be diligent about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm just thinking that... I don't know. I think this is a good segue into like another conversation. Let's talk about like taking on each other's kids when the other kid, because something that a lot of blended families struggle with is disciplining each other's children. So what?
Jared's typing. I definitely don't have a cup over there. Don't look at my desk. He says, what about eating in cars? Oh, he's being a smart ass now. Anyways, eating in cars, that can get pretty messy, right?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on eating in cars?
Gosh. I don't know. It's a hard thing. Some kids are fine. Some kids are not fine. Sometimes there's just accidents. I don't know. It depends on how much you value your car and how much you like to clean and who likes to clean. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes it looks like a bomb went off. Sometimes it's perfectly fine, right? I don't know. I think eating in cars is kind of a case by case thing. So
sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay.
Yeah, and it also depends on what you're doing. I mean, it's really case by case. Like, you know, if you're a person that has like a very nice vehicle and you don't want anything in it, you know, it's really case by case, or it's your own rules. And I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of on the edge of both of that.
Eric's.
Did I say a bad word? Oh my gosh, you haven't hung out with me in person. I try to be very calm and collective on here, you guys.
Because here's the thing. He paints me out to be a sailor on this show.
I paint her out. I'm the one putting all these words in her mouth, right, guys?
Listen up. At least, like, Eric on podcast is not Eric in real life.
I know I'm a saint in real life, you guys. I let loose a little in podcast, and I'm just
putting that out there. Like, do not be fooled. Like, I am just who I am all the time.
You're not that grumpy on podcast. No, she's very sweet on podcast, you guys.
Am I?
I don't
feel like I have haters here. People don't like me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm cool with that.
I'm not saying everyone hates you in real life. I'm saying that you're just so sweet and upbeat all the time in life.
All right. Oh, so we were, I was going to bring up, like, I know how chores are. So here's the deal with cleanliness in the home.
Right.
So you're a blended family. You have 2 sets of kids. You have 2 different parenting styles.
Right.
You know, you're not blending as a family. And so you got 1 set of kids who are expected to take out the trash, empty the dishwasher, clean, whatever, help unload the car every time. Then you have another set of kids who don't have those same, they might have different responsibilities, but they have different responsibilities, or maybe no responsibilities. I have friends who are so upset because their stepchild is expected to do nothing.
Right. We've had people write in about this.
Yeah. And so it's really important to try, and this is one of the things, like, I think this is the most basic thing that kids can bond over in the home. When you're in your home, you're a team and you're a family. And I always tell my kids that I'm not your maid. I'm not your servant.
I shouldn't even have to be your boss. I shouldn't even have to tell you to do all this, right?
Well, I mean, they're learning.
Yeah.
And they have to be shown how. I mean, there was a kid of ours who doesn't even know how to use a vacuum. Like, literally, I'm sitting here like...
Are you still watching? The kid can build a freaking motor. He'll build you a computer. He will literally hack the back end of a program.
That's important.
But here's the thing also.
Okay. I'm not trying to get you to be defensive.
No. I'm not defensive at all.
I'm just saying, like, these are life lessons.
I'm calling him out right now because I'm sure he's listening. Give me an F if you're listening, kid. I think he was just being a complete, and I'm going to bleep this out for Jessica, smart ass.
Because and did you see, I've never seen a slower vacuum job and the same vacuum, like the same thing got vacuumed. And I'm sitting there waiting for like anything to happen. You're like letting it go. So I let it go. I was taking your lead, but I'm like,
his time. He was taking his time. He was doing, I'm like, I was thinking to myself, he looked at me, he goes,
square patch of thing got vacuumed.
Right. So here's what it is though. He
like
says, what? He says, wait, what's a vacuum? Look at this. See, he's just a smart ass.
I wonder where he gets it from.
Right. So
can't be mad at it if that's...
Do you really, like, he can figure anything out. Like, he's outside yesterday tuning a dirt bike.
Okay, but
taking an entire carburetor apart, fixing it, you know what I mean? Like, changing the slide, changing out the jets. He's not an idiot. Like, he knows how to do this. So I'm like, you know what? You're going to take your time, and it's going to take you 30 minutes to vacuum something. Like, that's your time. That's your waste of time. You know, my parents were here, right? Weren't my parents here?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a show. It's like an attention thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Like, you want to play an idiot, like you're going to get treated like an idiot, right? And I don't buy into this, like with the kids. Like, sometimes it'll get me so riled up and I'll get angry, and he's very aware of that, and he knows how to get under my skin and press my buttons. And there's other times where I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to let this bother me. You go around and you push the vacuum around the house like you're an idiot. And you act like you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, but then it's like we have to re-vacuum.
Sometimes, but we have to re-vacuum once a day anyways. Like, I re-vacuumed anyways.
Okay.
What? You should step up and say something then. You're a stepmother. You guys, you hear this?
This is a perfect segue. I get it. But here's the same
you didn't
way.
even let me finish my sentence.
I'm 100% the stepmother.
No, you have 100% control to step in and say or do anything, and I will back you. Like you open up that microwave this morning, and you're like, "Who did this?" If I know that it's my kid that did this, I'm gonna jump on him. It makes me angry that it even has to get to that point, right? You're more than welcome to scold and lecture, but sometimes things are different. You know this. You very well know this. Sometimes they look different or they've happened different. Like I don't know, but you're more than welcome to jump on my kid and get angry at him. And
I don't want to get angry and I don't want to scold.
But if the kid's acting like an idiot vacuuming the same spot, call him out. Call him out. Be like, dude.
Well, here's where the thing is, I'm taking your lead.
Okay. Then overstep me and be like, look I'm not going to deal with this crap.
Mm-hmm. But so this is where I'm only going here to help other people who would be in my shoes or Eric's shoes.
I'm great with it.
This, on the flip side, I'm in Eric's shoes a lot with my daughter, so it's not. But here's the thing, because if I were, because this has happened more times than not, the second I step in, you get defensive. In the reverse as well. And I think this is a lot of step parenting, why step parenting is so hard, because if I were to say something, you would come back on me and make a smart ass remark to me or get defensive or something. And that would make me just pissed at you.
I don't think so.
I don't want to be pissed at you.
In that situation, my dad was making fun of him yesterday.
But you do. I'm just
sometimes. Okay, sure. Sometimes.
It happens. And I think that's where a lot of the struggle lies within being a step parent and having different parenting styles, and why a lot of it is you learn to step back or step aside.
Is that why you're a step parent?
Yeah, you step back, you step aside, because it isn't worth, for me, I don't want a fight to ensue between you and I,
right,
or me to have feelings about you when it has nothing to do with you.
So I feel like when this happens, in this situation, when it happens and you're like, if I step in, you're going to get defensive. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you'll direct the comments and the situation at me. You won't direct it at my son. It'll be like, why can't he do this? Or why, whatever. It comes to me. It doesn't go to him. If you stepped up, and I feel like you've done a good job of this lately, and I'm talking this last week, you've called him out on a couple. I'm trying to remember even what an example was, and I'll think of it here.
Last night when I had to come down here because you weren't home.
Yes, there you go. Perfect. Last night he was making lots of noise. He was banging on his desk. He was yelling. He was doing things, and you handled it. I wasn't home. You handled it. You took care of the problem. It wasn't a problem any longer. I didn't even come downstairs and talk to him about it. I'm like, you know what? You handled it. You got it to work out how you wanted. Good for you. That's how it should be done, right? And that, I mean, we have kids that do the same thing. I was actually teasing them this morning. I'm like, one keeps us up all night and one keeps us up all morning. We've got door slamming and we got hand slamming.
Well, and that's something that I think that you and I need to talk about. Mm-hmm. I feel like a good, especially now with our home situation and everything, I think because you guys are more night owls, mm-hmm. my kids are more early birds, mm-hmm. and then I'm kind of in between, mm-hmm. That I think that a reasonable hour that everyone can be on board with is 10 to 10.
Okay, meaning?
Quiet hours are from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay.
To let everyone sleep that needs sleep. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, I'm tired at 10 o'clock a lot, and I would just like to lay in bed and not have to deal with screaming and yelling. Mm-hmm. It's annoying.
Of course.
And so, and I would love my daughter to go to bed at 9:30, honestly. Mm-hmm. And so it keeps her up.
Right.
So I think that you and I have to come to for our family, with all of our different sleep schedules and all of our different, internal clocks going on,
right.
But you have to be reasonable, and I can work with my kids in the morning, mm-hmm. And then you guys can work because you guys are down here at night together, mm-hmm. and you're yelling sometimes. So I think that you can be respectful, pay attention to the fucking clock. There's clocks everywhere.
There she goes, guys. There she goes, Jess.
Well, because then it's I didn't know what time it was. Well, you fucking have a phone in your face or a computer with a clock on it. Like, be aware.
Not if you're playing a game and you're getting angry. You have no idea what time it is.
Then don't play a game after 10 o'clock. If you listen,
I've talked about that though. I've talked about that. I actually
be respectful.
I threatened my son the other day. I'm like, dude, at 10 o'clock for some reason, you ramp up. So I told him, I'm like, maybe we end Discord calls at 10 o'clock. Like if you can't mind your, he said, we have talked about 10, no mic. And him and I had this conversation the other day. I'm like, bud, if you can't be quiet, like 10 o'clock comes around and all of a sudden you get like amped up. I'm like, people are trying to go sleep out. You're not the only one awake. Like him and I have talked about this, and I'm sorry about last night. I feel like he's slowly getting better, but it might become a thing where it's like,
10 o'clock is you find something quiet to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to watch YouTube with headphones on, watch YouTube till your heart. I don't know.
So I feel for the most part.
And then also I need to work on the other, like to be fair. Yeah. I get that Annabelle clonks up and down the stairs all morning. I mean, that
Cole's
is something.
Making breakfast in the morning, and it's like
slamming doors.
Slams the microwave, and I'm like, dude, is that microwave even going to work when I actually wake up? 6 a.m. microwave slams. It's slamming. It's stomping down stairs. I mean, it's everything. Kids are kids, and they're not going to learn unless we teach them.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that it's frustrating because we have to keep reminding them, and if this was an employee, you would have been fired by now because we have told you 1,000 times, and why can't you figure it out? But we have to remember that they're little minds that we are molding and turning into better human beings.
And you have to understand, and this is something that I learned in my college days, like for things to become a habit where you don't think about it anymore, or it's just how it is, you have to do it 1,000 times.
Your college days, I thought you were going to say you have to drink it away.
It does take kids 1,000 times of doing something for it to become concrete, like where you don't have to, you just brush your teeth in the morning. You're not really thinking about it. You're not having to, your kids are going to go off to college, hopefully, if you've instilled that in them, brushing their teeth every morning. So I think that it's just start as early as possible to ingrain the habits that matter. Like the second you guys blend your family and you move in, for your kids' sake, set rules. This is why, house rules are really important because everyone's on the same page and expectations are set up front. It's really hard when you've been living and then we're starting. And yes, you're not a mind reader. You don't know some things that are going to come up that you're going to have to discipline. But you should have these talks with your spouse. Like, what is quiet time hour in our house from morning till night, depending on everyone's schedules? Something that really, my parents instilled in me and I am trying to instill in our kids. It's like, be respectful of this furniture. We might not get more. Mm-hmm. We might, but this is not your house. When you have your house and you want your shoes on the couch and you don't care about that. Or
your really dirty feet. That was one I had to get on really one of the kids yesterday. I'm like, get your feet off the couch. Like they are dirtier than the concrete outside.
Slamming doors.
Yep.
Slamming countertops, slamming desks, like slamming your fist on a desk or whatever. Like, this isn't your desk.
Yeah.
This is not your furniture. This is our furniture.
Or even devices.
Stop.
If you've got a device and you throw it down, or
yes, because you're mad at it.
Because you're mad. You're like, who bought that for you? Your parents are buying that for you. Are you going to replace that? Who's going to be angry when this doesn't work anymore?
Right.
And that's something right there that I get on my kid quite a bit about, and I try to make him think. I'm like, dude, you don't know the difference. My eye's starting to twitch. I'm getting like angry about it. I'm like, you are so entitled about this stuff, that you can just feel like you can treat it however, and if it breaks, you're like, whatever. Like, it's time to start learning tough lessons, And this was a lesson that I was talking about with him yesterday, is he was getting angry because he's out there trying to tune his dirt bike, which he has. He's so lucky to be a kid with a dirt bike. I didn't have a dirt bike at that age. He's out there trying to tune it, and it's running like extremely rich for him, or extremely lean. It was in one direction. It's idled up like, wah, and he's trying to get me to help him tune it. I'm like, look, I've given you all the tools. I've given you all the knowledge. You know what's causing what. You know what the ratios are. Mm-hmm. You need to figure it out. And he's like, well, can't I just take it to one of the shops? Is there a shop around here that I can take it to? I'm like, yeah, if you want to go take your $200 or so to have them tune this thing for you. I said, but look when you become an adult, you want these expensive toys. That's going to cost you money. Then you want someone to take care of them for you. That's going to cost you even more money. So he goes in the house. He does whatever he did for a little while. He comes back out. He's a little more calm and collected by then. Him and I are kind of the same way. We have to just take a little breather from each other, from the situation. Comes back out, spends about 10 minutes, tunes the thing up perfectly, dials it, starts ripping around, and he's happy. I'm like, but look if I just let you be an entitled kid and I come down there and I just do it all for you, how are you ever going to learn in life? Mm-hmm. How are you ever going to respect and have pride in anything that you do if everyone just does things for you? And I think that's what a lot of parents do these days. You know, they give their kids their phone, they give their kids their accounts, all their stuff, you know, all their things that occupy kids these days. And kids don't take accountability or have pride in anything. They don't earn things anymore. I remember my first Nintendo. I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. My first Nintendo that we got was like $100 at Costco. My sister, who's like a year and a half younger, her and I had to earn that and come up with the money, you know, and it took us, I don't remember how long or how it worked out. We had to earn that stuff, you know, and it teaches you to work towards a goal.
Yeah.
And if we can teach our kids to work towards goals, you know, and maybe that's just, you know, part of that is the hygiene goal. You know, if I don't have to yell at you to shower or brush your teeth, you know, yes, these are simple things that your kids just should get. But if you need to come up with a reward system, which I feel like a lot of classrooms do.
Annabelle cannot have a sucker till after dinner. Sorry.
Beauty of having your kids watch the podcast. Sorry, you guys.
That would be a no.
If you can, a hard no.
Hard no.
Is that a wiener hard no?
It's a sucker hard no.
Anyways, that was one of the little kids' jokes right there. Anyways, so if you can come up with a reward system that helps get your kids to goals, they do a lot of this in classrooms, and I don't think it's, you know, they do the marble thing.
Well, it's a reward system, and that is a tactic as old as time for, right. You know, you do good at your job, you might get a bonus. Wow. You know,
yeah.
It's a reward system, and, you know, you can get charts and gold stars, and every time
I gave you a gold star the other day.
I would love a chart with gold stars.
I'd
gold star the shit out of this house.
There she goes, yes. You do have some stars in the house. She did something good the other day, and I gave her a gold star. I texted to her. So, you guys, that's another little life hack. If your peoples in your life are doing good things, you just text them, type in star into your emoji area, and it'll come up.
But yeah, I mean, reward system, you can have a hygiene chart or a chores chart, and every 10 stars you get,
I don't know, $5 towards something, or $10 towards something, or you work towards literally the kid is typing that he wants ice cream right now.
That's Annabelle.
Oh, is it? She on his account?
No, she wants ice cream.
Oh.
Anyway, so reward system, I mean, there's people do what? Allowances.
I
call bullshit on allowances for our household. I'm like, be a team. You're part of our
kids already get so much. They're so handed to. Like, allowance system is just us giving more.
And now I can't afford allowance, so that is not happening. But I'm just saying, like, I think that what allowance does, they're not going to get allowance in their own homes. Like, if they did all their chores and they want to make extra money, they're like, they did all their chores and they're like, I need money. What extra things can I do?
Which
I'm for that.
Which they've done before. Like, my kid wanted his keyboard. I'm like, he worked hours for that, and he had a goal, and it's like, until this is finished,
we're not getting it.
Yeah. And he finished it. I mean, he'll help me.
As far as like helping out around the house, like chores, like sweeping, vacuuming, emptying trash, emptying dishwasher, cleaning your bathroom.
That's part of it.
It's part of it. They're going to have to do this as adults. They're not going to, you know what I mean?
They don't get extras for it.
No.
They don't get free rent if they clean their bedrooms or make their bed. Yeah.
And I just think it's something that parents really have to be firm with. Like, is
that wiener firm?
Oh my God. So you tell your kids that we're a team. You know, you give age appropriate chores. There's no reason a 3-year-old can't help, you know, to empty the bathroom little trash basket.
And bring it out and put it in the big trash.
Or, you know, can wipe windows with you.
Or teach them how to start vacuuming at 3. The kid was welding at 3 years old. He couldn't work the vacuum cleaner yesterday. I'm going to talk about that at your wedding day. He's talking about getting married today.
Oh, is he? His girlfriend?
Yes.
Anyway, I just think that parents need to lead the charge of hygiene and cleanliness and do it, as soon as you can. The longer you wait to implement things at your expectations, the more you're going to be frustrated and angry. I always feel like when Eric leaves the house and I am alone with your son.
I thought you were going to say the boogeyman.
The boogeyman. Something that I consciously think to myself, I'm like, I need to check in with him and see if there's any expectations, because the worst part is I don't know what he's allowed.
You did that today.
Worked
you
out
did that
or
today.
Not worked out.
You're like, I was getting ready to go for a lunch meeting, and you're like, what's the expectation with him being grounded from the whole microwave situation?
And you're like, there's none. And I'm like, okay.
No.
You said there's none.
I told you,
about it.
I said no.
I'm like, okay.
Exactly. But I took him out of the situation. I grounded him from his computer until that was done, and he was off his computer for a few hours, you know? And
but
I came back and I let him know what he needed to do. And that was one of the consequences. He was off it that whole time. I came back and it was like, all right, you need to clean this up, this up, this up. You need to meet these goals before you get this back.
Right.
And he did it.
Yeah.
He even showered today.
Aw, nice. But I think it's important to check in with each other as parents to find out what expectations are, because moms have different expectations than dads. And especially when one parent's left at home for whatever reason with the kids, or, and you don't know what happens. Life moves pretty fast when you're a family.
Communication.
Yeah.
Have I ever mentioned that?
What?
Communication.
Is lubrication?
Lubrication, communication.
Yeah, it gets you wet.
Segregation.
What?
Anyways, you guys, if you enjoyed this podcast,
Blended
Life, I'm taking us out. This is a dirty subject.
Lubrication?
No, all of it.
Are we going to talk about lubrication?
No, you guys, we're out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys want to watch more. We're usually pretty live on Thursday nights.
Live?
We're pretty live. We haven't missed a live episode in quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to skip tonight.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks, you guys. You get it. Blended family life. So we'd love to have you guys as subscribers. Email us, DM us, find us on all the social media platforms. But we really like talking with you guys and interacting with you guys. You have questions, let us know. One of us will personally email you or message you back. And we just appreciate you guys being here, spending the time with us, and let us know how things are going in your blended family and what we can help you guys with and talk to you guys with.
And spread the word. If you like this podcast, share that with others.
If you don't like the podcast, just don't say anything.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next Thursday.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.